Hi, it's Chris Rue here, and I'm really looking forward to helping you become the leader that you want to be. Today, I wanted to help you learn how to cultivate decision making in others. Decisions don't always have to come from you. One of the common laments I hear from chief executives and managing directors is that people seem to be waiting for a decision from them to get on and do stuff. As someone once said to me, I've never stopped anyone from doing anything, but they still seem to wait for me to say yes. It's exhausting. Do you recognise this pattern? Do you recall how it feels? Why am I the only one making decisions here, it feels like? So one of the features of the changing landscape in leadership goes straight to the heart of this issue. In next generation organisations, wherever possible, decision-making is devolved, and people are encouraged to make local decisions in their area of responsibility that serves the higher purpose of the organisation. So how can you cultivate this with your teams? Well, the first thing to think about is, why do you think people keep waiting for answers from you? What message are you conveying in the way that you show up and in the way that you communicate? Well, that suggests to people that they need to wait to ask you before moving forward. Sometimes this can come down to the subtleties of your behaviours. Think about the last time you found out that someone had done something that you disagreed with. Take a moment to think. What did you do? How did you react to that person? Were you calm and considered? Or did you get more emotional and react energetically? Did you perhaps immediately tell them that they were wrong and perhaps adopt a manner that indicated to them that you also thought they were a bit stupid in doing that? Or did you stop to ask them why and try to understand their thinking? I am reminded of our approach as a parent sometimes here. How many of you have turned to your young son or daughter when they messed up and immediately said to them, "That was wrong, a daft thing to do, and you should know better, and you're going to be sacked"? Of course you didn't. And why? Because you want to create a safe space for your child to learn from their mistakes and want to come back and try again. So are you saying here that we're all children then, Chris? Surely we should expect more from people than that. Well, indeed, people have grown up building their skills and capabilities over the years, but consider how they have learned those skills. Also ask them about the leaders whom they respect the most, and most often, more often than not anyway, they will say that those leaders who supported them, let them try new ways and encourage them to keep going and keep trying new things, were the best for them. And guess what? They got the best results with those leaders. So how can you create a safer space? Again, it starts with your behaviour and attitude. The tip and the example I want to give you here today is partly illustrated by Jeff Bezos of Amazon, who I'm sure you know or have heard of. Jeff has applied a number of practices, and the two that I think you might find useful here are, number one, day one thinking. The essence of day one thinking is that leaders, and in truth all members of the Amazon team, should adopt a position of considering it to be day one of the company, with all the energy, vitality and focus that starting a new initiative always brings. This idea came about in the very early days of Amazon. He occupied a building called Day One, named as a reminder that the company should always be in day one mode. And as I said, Jeff sees days two as stasis, or at worst the reversal of day one concept, followed by irrelevance, followed by excruciating painful decline and death. This idea has become a bit of folklore inside of Amazon, and Jeff's attention to the day one concept is credited to much of Amazon's success, and so it has become something of a legend. The key element of this concept is to focus on results and not process. In a 2016 Forbes article in which a 2016 letter to shareholders by Jeff was discussed, Jeff explained that as the company grows, it becomes easy to rely on process rather than the result. And in that case, the process becomes the thing. When that happens, sometimes companies stop looking at outcomes and only consider whether they followed the process correctly, not whether the desired outcome was achieved. And in terms of making quick decisions, Jeff wrote that Day 2 companies do actually make good decisions, but the problem is that they make them rather slowly. He wrote that startups have no problem making high quality, high velocity decisions, but large organizations struggle with doing the same, and stated that the senior team at Amazon is determined to keep our decision making velocity high. Why? Well, speed matters in business, plus a high velocity decision making environment is much more fun. Now, I talk about high velocity decision making in another video, which you may or may not have seen, and you may recognize some themes there which you may find interesting. But let's go back to Jeff. To make this high velocity decision making in Amazon leadership team, the Day 1 process has a disagree and commit system for employees. The idea is that not everyone will agree on a decision, but it's still possible for people who disagree to work towards the same goal. The example he mentioned related to a time when he was not sure about a proposed Amazon Prime TV series, partly because of his level of interest in it, and partly because of the business terms of the deal. He said, "I had a completely different opinion and wanted to go ahead." I wrote back right away with, "I disagree and commit, and hope it becomes the most watched thing we've ever made," he wrote. Consider how much slower this decision cycle would have been if the team had actually had to convince me, said Jeff, rather than simply get my commitment. The key here is the self-awareness of the possibility of holding up the process and stalling a great amount of energy for the sake of that decision. The commitment to support the relevant teams being able to be the best that they can be enables people to feel like they can engage in new and different options and seek ways to improve results much more quickly if they know that their enabling leader's purpose is to help them achieve, deliver and thrive. So you can try this for yourself. Consider where you might decide to disagree but commit, where you can encourage and enable members of your team to push some boundaries that maybe you have yet to explore yourself. And who knows, you might find yourself in a whole new marketplace. Now, of course, make it clear what you're trying to do. Tell some people, tell the team. Ask for feedback from the team regarding this approach and refine it based upon what they say. The benefits of doing this, of course, is you will be actively supporting your team members. You will engage and motivate them, and will be encouraging people to think for themselves. And of course, critically, you're going to be accelerating the process of achieving results. So do let me know how you get on with that if you've already tried it. I'd love to hear how it works for you. And if you found this helpful and would like to learn more leadership tips and techniques, then do click the link below to get to my free leadership training, which can be found on chrisrue.com. There, as you may know, I'm sharing a few of my tools and techniques that I've picked up over the years, and that hopefully will help you and enable you to become a more resilient and effective leader. In the meantime, let me thank you for watching. I wish you luck going forward with your leadership challenges, and thank you for letting me help you become the leader that you want to be. Bye for now.